guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you a couple of movements that are asymmetrical with the clubs, things such as I cannot show you here, but I will be teaching some of these movements as well in today's video, so I hope that you enjoy it and let's get started. Holding the clubs in two hands, you're going to rotate one arm forward and one arm back, and you're going to do this at the same time. Try your best not to move your shoulders during this movement like this, but keeping them facing forward. For the next movement, you're going to rotate one club to the side and one club back. One to the side, one arm back, and you can do this separately, one by one, and then you can put it together. The club at the side can be rotating over or up and under. You can do a similar exercise with your club rotating vertically instead of horizontally. Again, it can go from only behind to the front or front and back, front and back. When doing all these exercises, make sure that you also try with your other hand as well, or in another direction. This next movement is a little bit more difficult to learn. I don't specifically have a name for it, but it's basically rolling down the club, sort of, from the top to the bottom. You can do this in a double or in a single. So for now, you can drop one club to the side, and we're going to learn how to do a single. Starting from the top, you're going to drop the club down to your elbow, down the length of your arm, holding the club in your hand. Next, you're going to bring your hand down to your chest, and then you're going to bring your elbow down and open up your arm. And at the same time, open up the club. So bring the club up, drop it down to your elbow, drop your hand to your chest, then drop down the elbow, and then extend your arm along with the club. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 movements. Once you start getting the hang of it, you can do it a little bit faster. Make sure to practice with your other hand as well. Now doing the same movement, take your other club in your other hand and rotate it by your side. Or you can do the same thing, but this time with rotating your whole arm back. Do it slowly first, one by one. First bringing the club down and then bringing one club back and around, and then you can combine it together. Once you get good at it, you can try doing it with both arms at the same time. And then do the same thing, but one by one, so one club is slower than the other, so it looks like this. Okay, so here's the double in slow motion. So it's basically the same thing. Drop down the club, down to your chest. Now instead of extending the whole arm, you're going to slightly bend and do an inner circle inside and then extend the club. Right here is where the club should be in the inner side of your elbow, and you're just going to do a circle from there. So you can try the same thing without the club. We're going to extend the full arm just for the sake of learning this for now. So doing it without the club, you're going to start from the top, bending your hand to your chest, then dropping your elbow, and then you can extend your arm here and then do an inner circle and then extend your arm to finish. The reason I said I don't want you to extend your elbow the full way when you do a double is because if you do, you're more likely to drop your club and it will stop the motion and it won't be as fluid. So keep the elbow slightly bent when you go in for the second loop. So when you go to do your second circle, the club has to be resting on the inner side of your elbow. Again, you can combine this with rotating the club to your side or rotating your whole arm back. Again, you can try doing this with 2 clubs at the same time, and then you can also try doing it one by one, meaning one is slightly faster than the other. Now this next one is a little bit easier. It is the same thing except from going down to up instead of up to down. So holding the club in your hand, you're going to bring the club up onto your hand. You're going to bend your elbow up and your hand more to your chest, and then you're going to extend your arm up and at the same time extend the club too. You can combine this with rotating the other arm forward. For this next one, it's going to be exactly the same like we did to the front, except it's going to be to the side. It's exactly the same concept except to the side. You can again do a single or a double. Also, if someone has a name for this movement, for any of these movements, please let me know in the comments down below, because I only know it one and it's in Russian, so that's not really helpful, I guess, to English speakers. During this, you can either rotate the club to the side or rotate it backwards or rotate it down by your side backwards. And you can do this backward like we did to the front, except this time to the side. Okay, so this one is slightly more difficult and it is still new for me, but I recently learned it and I think it's really fun and it kind of looks cool. So let's try this out. So the club should be at horizontal. You're going to bring it back onto your elbow. You're going to have to bring it in backwards, in towards you, keeping the club at a horizontal level, and you're going to do that twice so that it becomes a double, and then extend your arm. As you can see, mine is maybe not perfectly horizontal to the side, which is how it should be, but again, you gotta practice and you'll get better at it. Here are a few more variations of what you can do with the clubs. Again, you can do them at the same time or one by one. Here are a few throws, so I'm not exactly sure if they would be considered as asymmetrical handling, but here they are anyway. So one club here is going in and one is going out. So one is like a normal throw towards you and one is actually away from you. So the one that's going away from you, you will only do one, and the one that is a normal throw will be a double. So the club will do 2 rotations. You can also do it with 1 rotation, but usually I do 2. This next one is also new for me. Basically, one club is going underneath while the other is rotating around your hand. So let's learn the rotation first around the hand. Holding the body of the club, you're going to turn your hand inwards, and when you cannot turn your hand around anymore, let go of the club and quickly turn your hand around. Then throw the club under the other club, and then try to do this one by one, and then try to do it together. If you watch Rhythmic Gymnastics, if you know who Daria Trubnikova is, I think she does this movement a lot in her club's routine. So if you want to see her do it, then I would recommend checking out her club's routine. So that's all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, remember that these take practice. I also recommend doing it in front of the mirror, perhaps it can help. And that is all for today's video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! See, I start filming, cars start passing by. Very rude. Back with the clubs. Oh my god, is my last video about clubs? No, yes. I don't even remember. Anyway. So for today's video, I'm going to be... So annoying! So many instructions. Smile, just a little bit. Hello? You think that this was recording all this time? Oh my god. I did not know that. I did not expect that. Okay. Let's start with the difficult ones. That was bad. hardest outro ever. Oh my god, this hurts.